As the war escalates, the crypto market is struggling. However, the big question remains, is the bull run over or this is just a dip? Hello everyone, this is Richard and welcome to a new weekly overview here on AltCryptoTalk. Today, I'll be going over 6 charts to help us reveal the answer. So let's get started, and of course, don't forget to smash that like button if you like such content. Starting with BTC, we have been overall bullish, and previously a couple of weekly overviews ago, we expected a bullish impulse to start from around this area because it was the intersection of 4 things on weekly time frame and even 5 things if you zoom into daily time frame. From weekly time frame, we had the 34% correction just like the previous cycle. As mentioned previously, the demand zone, aggressive bullish movement from here, the lower bound of this rising wedge as you can see in blue, and the previous structure turned support. That's why we expected this bullish impulse, and we even managed to create a new all-time high, a slight one around 112k. However, the bulls are still in control to answer this question, and I'll be answering the question on every chart we go over. The bulls will remain in control unless we break below the structure, below the 100k round number. It's a massive structure, previous major low, and also the 100k round number. If you break below it, we'll be expecting the bearish correction to start towards the 90k. 95k of course is a minor support and demand zone, but the 90k is the stronger medium-term structure. This one reminds me very much of this phase right there. We broke below it, started the correction, and then the impulse started. However, as long as we are above the 100k, this can be a continuation pattern. We've got a big impulse, a small range, a flat one, another impulse started, a rising range, which means that the bulls are very strong, another impulse, and we are currently having the biggest correction of all this latest impulse movement, which means that the bears are stronger than before, but can also mean that it's preparing for the last bigger impulse movement to be revealed or to be answered by breaking above the all-time high, the previous one around 112k. If you break it upward, this would act as a continuation pattern, and we'll be expecting a movement towards the upper bound of this big wedge pattern that we saw from weekly time frame towards the 130k round number. But let's take it step by step. We are in a consolidation, a big range. If you break below the 100k, expect more pain. If you break above the 112k, expect a continuation. Next, we've got total market cap, very similar to BTC. However, it's not an all-time high, as you clearly notice. Previously, we've mentioned a couple of weekly overviews ago that we were currently here, a structure demand zone here, aggressive bullish movement, lower bound of this rising wedge pattern. Anyway, we broke above this previous major high that we saw on daily time frame. We broke above it and we pushed all the way like this. Just like BTC, we are currently stuck within a range and also around the 3 trillion support zone, a very strong demand zone. So as long as we are above the 3 trillion, we are overall bullish, and this is just a correction phase. Even if you drop lower, even if you are expecting more pain for the next couple of weeks or even months, but it's just a correction in an overall bullish trend and a big impulse movement forming just like the previous one. For the bullish to take over from a long-term perspective, a break above this previous high around the 3.5 trillion would be needed. Meanwhile, every bearish movement would be a good opportunity for us to be looking for short-term longs targeting the upper band. Of course, this is an index where we see or we feel the market will be taking profit and so on altcoins. So that's it for total USDT dominance, a very good factor or a very good chart to keep an eye on. If USDT dominance is going higher, it means a dip in the crypto market or a bearish crypto market, and vice versa. If USDT dominance is pushing lower, it means people are selling their USDT or swapping their USDT to crypto assets. Anyway, we are in a big correction phase, if you want to call it, after this big nice impulse. We've got our first impulse, small correction, second impulse, small correction, bigger impulse, and we are currently in this correction phase. I'm calling it a correction because we don't have a break above the previous major high yet and the 5% resistance zone. We've got the 3 trillion on total the 100k on BTC, and you also got the 5% on USDT dominance. If you break it upward, it wouldn't be good for the crypto market. You will be seeing a BTC breaking below the 100k and total breaking below the 3 trillion. Anyway, we are here now, and even though we have the war escalating and so on, it is just a small bearish movement within this big range. As mentioned in the previous overview, if you break below the 4.75%, we'll be expecting the bears to take over, which of course would be bullish for the crypto market, and we are simply now having a correction phase. This is still acting as a minor structure, of course, from H1 time frame, and I'm still expecting this movement, which would be bullish for the crypto market as long as we mentioned previously BTC remains above the 100k. ETH, a very good indicator, especially for altcoins or for the altcoin season, bull run, and so on. Previously, when we were here, I've expected that if you break above this previous major high, which was on H4 time frame, here we go. This area here around 1850, we'll be expecting a big bullish movement to start, and this is what happened. Now we are around a support zone. Even though we have been in a bearish market for the past couple of days, it is just a correction movement. Support zone, very strong one in ETH due to staking, and people are holding ETH long term. It's not getting affected a lot, while altcoins have been breaking lows. So even if altcoins are breaking new lows, and even some of them are making new all-time lows, which is of course obvious for lower market caps, ETH has been standing strong and haven't even broken a low. Anyway, it's currently around the lower bound of this rising channel and support zone 2.5k, making this area a very strong area. And as per the previous overviews, we've mentioned that if you break above this previous high, just like previously, we'll be expecting another bullish movement towards the upper bound of the range. And this is just in play, it's still valid. We can still expect a bullish movement as long as the 2.4, 2.5 support zone holds. So from ETH, we can understand and we can answer the question that we are still in a dip and not in a bearish market. So the bull run is not over as long as ETH is above the 2.4, 2.5k support zone. For others, which is the market cap for everything else except the 10 top assets like BTC, ETH, XRP, and so on. As mentioned previously on ETH now, that lower market caps are having a hard time making low lows, even new all-time lows, and you can clearly see it while ETH is standing strong and USDT dominance is standing strong within the range, total is within the range, while others is making new lows. We broke below the low lately last week, and we have been bearish, which means low market caps are not performing well. For the shift in momentum to happen, which would be a signal that the bull run or the altcoin season is starting again, we need to see a break above a high, which is currently around 7.87%. If you break it upward, we'll be expecting a short-term bullish movement towards the 8.9%, and if you break it upward, a movement towards the 11% would be expected. Last but not least, we've got BNB. Yes, BNB, a very important factor in my opinion, which is the #1 exchange, and BNB is a native token of Binance, which is a very good indicator. If it's standing strong, means staking orders, DeFi, and so on. So money is flowing into crypto, because it's of course, like you can go for different native tokens for different exchanges, but BNB is the biggest one, so I keep an eye on it. Just like USDT dominance, I can still go for over USDC dominance, but that wouldn't really matter. Just to focus on the biggest one is enough. As long as BNB is above the structure, previous resistance, turn support, previous support around this area, we are still good. It's just a dip unless we break below the 6 to 8. If you break it downward, I have my alerts right there, if you can see it, we'll be expecting a bearish movement, and vice versa. I also have my alerts right there. If you break above the upper bound of this range, it would mean a continuation pattern for BNB. It would mean people are optimistic, our money is flowing into crypto again, which is the biggest exchange and like of course using BNB within the ecosystem of Binance. This is where you see BNB would be having good times. So that's basically it for these 6 charts. As a summary, we are still in a bull run, we are still in a correction phase. Don't panic. If you have been in the game long enough, you know that these kind of events or news or this period of time is good to invest, to DCA, and to do research. And of course, always do your own research. These are not any financial advice. Be safe, trade safe, especially during this period of time. And of course, don't use big leverage. And I'll see you hopefully on the next one.